Good morning. Sorry I'm late on another round of technical difficulties, but well, not technical difficulties, just whatever. Technical difficulties. Um, Good morning, Wednesday. The oh man, it's May 1st. How about that? Right, 30 days in April, May 1st. And it is a beautiful but dark morning outside. I'm hoping to start doing some of these outside. If it ever gets light, nice and early, then I would like to sit outside and do these meditations. If the time comes, great. Jumping right into it though. Good morning again. I hope that we are well rested. I try to go to bed at a reasonable hour. It is sometimes difficult, sometimes because of the mind, constantly thinking, sometimes because of circumstances, sometimes I just have a lot of things to do. Dinner gets late, cleanup gets late, and next thing you know, it's late o'clock. But I do the best that I can do to get a good night's sleep every night. When I used to make, I would always make sure that like my phone is charged completely, like at night. But then I was like, well, why am I not making sure that my body is fully charged? Phones come, go. This is like my 20th phone. I'm taking good care of it. I don't want to damage it. I don't want to put it in a position where it could get, broken. I don't want people, messing. But why don't I treat my body with that same kind of urgency, that same kind of, I want to make sure that it stays in great shape, great condition. So this is a part of that. But I just want to stress that this entire practice that I undergo is a deliberate getting in touch with my inner spirituality, my true religion, as it were. My religion is not on paper. It cannot be confined between pages. It cannot be, orated in, some eloquent way. It cannot be explained away in words. It is something that is so deep and so profound and so complex that it defies words. It defies explanation. It defies written description. And that, it is that part of me that springs from that life source that is before all of these things came to be, before we had rituals and practice, before we had, words to communicate, where where communing with nature, is a natural thing, becoming one with all that is within me and without. And so that's what this is. And here in the Muladhara, strengthening that root chakra, that connection, it's just the laying of that good foundation, the tending of the garden of the mind for the seeds that I plant, so that they might grow into, again, something beautiful. I don't know exactly what. I do know what I don't want in my life. I know what I have lived. I know how I have been. I know how my relationships have been in the past. I know how my words and actions have come across, and I know where those things lead in my own life. And so there was a saying that I heard a long time ago, said if you want something different than you've ever had, then you've got to be prepared to do something that you've never done before, something completely different. And so this is it. This is what grounds me. This is what allows me to see myself in that way, to see my life as more than just a thing that I live on my own for myself, but a thing that affects other life forces around me and impacts in the way that I impact is my own decision. I could not care, and I could just be reckless as I was in my youth with my words and actions, and just whatever the hell happens, happens. But I've decided that that is not the kind of impact that I want to make. I've recognized that I have had an impact, a deep impact on many people, and the dynamic of that impact is of my own choosing. So this is the way that I choose. So just getting right on into it, laying a good foundation for the day to get started, continuing to lay the foundation for my life. I'm sitting in a comfortable space, ready to set a good tone, and I'm looking straight ahead, unfocused, aware of the space around me, seated in a position I can maintain for the next 15 minutes or so, breathing deeply in through my nose and out through my mouth. Again, with each deep in-breath, taking in clean air, clean oxygen. And with every out-breath, releasing impurities, toxins, negative energies, anything left over from yesterday that I don't want. Aware of the renewing power of the breath. And with the next out breath, closing my eyes and returning my breathing to normal in and out through the nose. And as I settle into this space with my eyes closed, I am aware in 3 dimensions of the space around me, of the place where my body is physically sat. And I tune in to my physical senses. I feel my body pressing down against the seat, against the floor, and I'm aware of the contact between my body and the floor. I feel the weight of my hands and forearms on my lap. And I notice very deliberately that contact, that sense of touch. I notice the many sounds piercing the early morning darkness. Loud sounds, quiet sounds, near sounds, far away sounds. I swirl my tongue around in my mouth and just taste whatever is lingering there, aware of that sense. And I become aware of any smells, odors, aromas, scents that hang in the air. and for just a few moments taking an opportunity to check in with my body, to see how it's feeling today. Starting at the soles of the feet and scanning upward to the crown of the head. I take the opportunity to notice deliberately every part of my body, listening to those sensations, those feelings. And also asking, does it feel the same today as it did yesterday? Not stopping and settling attention, just noticing as we scan up. And now turning the fullness of our attention to the rising and falling of breath in the body, in the torso, without attempting to control or direct the breath in any way, just observing the body as it does naturally, majestically, what it does on its own, unceasingly, with no active thought or effort from me. And where do I feel that rising and falling today, that heave? Is it high in the chest, in the lungs? Is it in the diaphragm? Is it low in the belly? Is it the same place I felt it yesterday? And as I transition into this space, I begin the day with a moment of gratitude, searching my mind for that which I am thankful today. This morning I am grateful for the opportunity for renewal. With my human limitations, there are times where I fall short of my intended goals, where I allow my feelings to speak. Without really putting the faculty of thought, of reason, of love into that. But that is never the end. I'm thankful for the opportunity to correct and move forward. I guess in a sense, again, it's forgiveness. And I say aloud, thank you. And setting before me the tone of the day, that on which I choose to focus ahead of anything that the body or mind could conjure up today by way of thoughts and feelings. that may be counter to the direction that I'm going in life. And I intend and affirm I am healthy, strong, and whole in body, mind, and spirit. I respect, love, and honor the temple into which I was deposited, and I treat the temple with respect. I am one with all of nature and my fellow man. I am deeply connected with the spirit of the earth. I deliberately cultivate the energy that I want to put into the world. All of my needs are met, and I trust that they will continue to be. And with our focus set, we return the fullness of our attention to the breath, simply observing. With no attempt to control or direct the breath, we just watch. If it helps the focus to count, then count the out breaths to a count of 5 before returning to 1. Count only to 5, and then start over at 1. If the mind begins to wander, it's okay. But the moment we notice, let's return the focus to that breath, to that rising and falling sensation in the body. It's perfectly natural for the mind to want to think. But if we do become distracted, let's turn our focus back to the breath, just observing. And for just a moment, letting go of all focus and allowing the mind to just do whatever it wants to do, to think about whatever it wants to think about. Just let it off the leash for a moment. And now just retraining that focus onto the breath as we come back into the fullness of the present. Becoming aware once again of the space around us in 3 dimensions, the place where we are currently situated. Feeling once again the weight of the body and its contact between the seat, pressing down. The contact of the hands and the forearms resting on the lap. Noticing any sounds in our surroundings, as well as any smells or tastes in the mouth. And when we're ready, slowly and gently opening the eyes with that same unfocused, straight ahead gaze, and retaining our positions for just a moment as we pull all that we worked on in this morning's meditation forward to the present, determining to set a good tone for the day, to live the day with strength and purpose, to continue that cultivation of good energy, not just leaving it here, but carrying it with us all through the day. There are infinite externalities into which we are dropped at any given moment of any day. But this energy that I cultivate for myself is to strengthen me against those energies, not in a defensive or combative way, but when the negative energies come, I want them to hit me and neutralize like a force field. I want to be able to, help change the energies of the people around me. If they are, if the energy is I guess, for lack of a better term, negative. It's not so much of as a negative or positive, but just a very even energy, so that I can live what I speak. Living what I speak is not always easy. Sometimes, I want to yell and scream and curse too, but I choose not to. I understand what kind of energy that creates and how that will begin to ripple out. I don't want to do that. That's not the kind of life I want to live, not the kind of energy I want to create, not the kind of surroundings and circumstances I want to be in. But I also don't want to have to run from everything, every negative situation. I want to strengthen my energy so that I can powerfully move through situations and help resolve them instead of just building them up, letting anger beget more anger and violence, more violence, and irritation, more irritation. Nope. Nice and calm. Deliberately cultivated, created, fostered, and spread energy. So have a great day. Spread light and love everywhere you go. Take some time for yourself as we are continuing to lay this root, lay this foundation, and cultivate this garden. Take some time to walk around outside barefoot, sit in the sun, feel it on your face just for a few moments. Just small things. All right, have a great day.